What's up and welcome to my live unboxing, the Alienware M15 R5 with the Ryzen processor. See if Alienware performs well with the Ryzen processor in it. See what kind of temps we get, what kind of TDP Alienware sets this thing to, and see see if this thing overheats or thermal throttles at all. Is this the base model? This is the 1749 model. Let's go ahead and go over the exact model I ordered here. Okay. Cool. So this is there's a link right in the video description down below to this. And if you do use that link, it does help support my channel, but there's no pressure to buy it all. As always on my channel, I just try to explore all the different laptops out there. And then if you ever decide to buy a laptop, you can use my links to support me if you'd like, or whatever creator you want to support. Okay, so this is going to be, I believe, the model I ordered, or at least very similar. We got a Ryzen 7 5800H RTX 3060. This has its 360 hertz display with G-Sync and Advanced Optimus. Now, I'm very curious about the Advanced Optimus. I want to test that out in this video. That's probably one of the most important and standout features for this laptop that'll get a lot of people to buy this laptop. So, and then 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gig SSD, and a 4-zone Alien FX RGB keyboard with a killer AX1650 Wi-Fi. So we got Wi-Fi 6 on this laptop as well. Now, let's go ahead and go back to chat here. So basically, I believe this is that model. The model I just went over should be the model here, unless I ordered something differently, but we'll find out. Okay. All right. So if I see people hopping into the stream now. So we'll go ahead and get this unboxing started very soon here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so here is so let me go ahead and do an official intro. Well, I guess we kind of did an intro. We're just going to get right into it. This is the Alienware M15 R5. Let's check it out. Ooh. Oh, this is a great unboxing experience, okay? So we've got the laptop set off into like its own like plastic carton. We got a cardboard box padding all the way around it. So not exactly the most cushy travel that I've seen for a laptop, but I like the packaging. It's very stylish on the packaging side of things. All right, now here's the power brick. Yep. All right, the power brick is a 240 watt power brick, and we have the typical Alienware power adapter on the end. So if you need to, this should be a pretty easy to get secondary power adapters from third parties or directly from Alienware. Okay. There's the power cable, and it's nice and long. I like that. Makes it easy to plug in. All right, we'll just put these back inside of here. All right, and then this is pretty cool. We've got a lift up tab. I like that. Makes it easier and it's a little classier for the unboxing experience. Very solid, very weighty feeling. The price of this one is right around $1740 for this configured unit, I believe. Though I don't think there's any specs on the outside of the box. So we'll have to get inside and make sure it's a 360 hertz display, but I believe it is. This is very, very thin, very solid feeling in the hands. So let's see what it feels like, when we get down to pressing the keyboard and how firm the chassis is and everything. But my hopes are high based on how heavy it feels in the hand. Was there 2 power bricks? No, there's not 2 power bricks for this machine. Okay, and there is, so I back this up, put the laptop down, and we've got our little warranty card and starter information here. So taking a look inside of here, this is pretty cool. It has our ports information. We have USB 3.2 Gen 1, USB 3.2 Gen 1 with power share, USB 3.2 Gen 1 on the other side, and then a USB-C with a display port. and that's 3.2 Gen 2. So that's going to be a high bit rate external display port for like using 120 hertz 4K. And then we've got an external power adapter port on the back, it looks like. Cool. And I think that's everything worth checking out in the manual. Alienware. In 1996, we set out to build the most innovative and high-performance computers for ourselves and for our fellow gamers. Since then, Alienware products have won hundreds of awards around the world and are regarded as the absolute best personal computers ever made. Our team has spent countless hours talking to customers, technology partners, and game developers to design, engineer, and reliably manufacture this amazing piece of technology you're about to welcome into your life. It's pretty well written, admittedly, but it's kind of a little bit over the top. But I like it. I like it. Your appreciation of premium performance and innovative design is exactly what distinguishes an Alienware user from everyone else. You now belong to a select and proud community. In the relentless pursuit of the finest technology the world has to offer, your passion for excellence is what drives and inspires us to continue delivering on our promise every day. Dun dun dun. Okay, cool. So that's that. And then we have a little warranty card. I believe this is a 1-year warranty, but Dell does offer a great warranty service where they send techs out to your house to fix stuff when it goes wrong. So you can choose to opt into that extra warranty if you need to. Let's go ahead and take a look at the external ports of the laptop to get started. So we have a LAN port, which has a little tab you have to pull down. Then we have our dual headphone mic port right here, like a headset port. And looks like we have a speaker out right here. And then I believe this is a fan exhaust, and it's kind of like a sideways and downwards fan exhaust, which is interesting. All right. And on the bottom, you can see we have some fan intakes all along here. I can see some of the heat pipes through there, but it's pretty hard to tell through here what it looks like on the inside. And you can see one thing I will point out is that when you take the bottom off here, I can already tell you just take off the front 2/3 of it. The back panel does not come out. Okay. Now on the right side, we have two USB 3.1 Type A's. All right. And then on the very back, we have a USB-C with DisplayPort, another Type A, and an HDMI. I don't know what exact port specs are on that. And then we have our power adapter port. So you have a DisplayPort out and an HDMI out for our video outs on this device. Okay, cool. No SD card slot, no Thunderbolt. I don't know if the USB-C is USB-C power delivery charging. Chris Johnson, smash that like button. Like button smashed. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it if you guys smash the like button. It does help me out as a creator. So thank you guys in chat for reminding everyone. Cool. Is there an RTX 3070 Ryzen 7 5800H? Yes, there is an upgraded model from this. So there is some alternative configurations for this laptop. And as long as this has a high TDP, an upgrade to an RTX 3070 could very well be worth it. If I take a look over at the website here, we can see the different configurations they offer. The base model starts out at 1567. And it looks like we have a Ryzen 7 5800H and an RTX 3060. So that's like kind of the very base model, which is still very impressive. But you're gonna have to be able to customize this, and you can see there's some changes you can make here. But so you have a 1080p 165 hertz with 3 ms. That's going to be a good display probably for gaming and for other multitasking and stuff like that. And it's only 1567. So there is a nice base model here, though this is a very small SSD size. I would definitely recommend getting an upgraded SSD size. Or and it's typically cheaper, almost always cheaper to buy that yourself and put it in afterwards, which shouldn't take very long to take the bottom off. Now, this is the RTX 3070 version. Looks like it's 1861. So this one, let's see what this one comes with. You can upgrade to a QHD 240 hertz. Very nice with NVIDIA and G-Sync. NVIDIA, G-Sync, and Advanced Optimus. I love that. This is a great option right here. So it costs $1940 with this configuration though. And again, it's a bit small on that SSD size is base, so you probably have to upgrade that as well, either yourself or later. I recommend probably going for a 2 terabyte would be the size I'd recommend for most people. It's a good price to size ratio. Okay, and then I don't think you can put a 3080 in this. The most they offer is a 30 up to a 3070, at least for now. So you can get a Ryzen 9 5900HX with an RTX 3070 for $23.99 for the most upgraded version. So you can get the souped up version basically if you want to. Okay. While I review the Dell G5 15, maybe if Alienware sends me one or Dell sends me one. Um, so we'll see. Okay, so we've got the laptop here. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the laptop now. What's the battery life on this? Not sure. Haven't tested it yet, but I imagine it's pretty good. We have Advanced Optimus on this, I believe. We have Advanced Optimus or regular Optimus, one of the two, and very nice. Okay, so first impressions of the chassis. Touchpad is a little bit narrow, so I can already tell, like going up and down. I mean, this is pretty. It's a reasonable size, but for a 15-inch laptop, typically you have a little bit taller touchpad. You know, the width is good, but another half-inch or inch taller on most laptops. Um, Keyboard feels great. I think most people would really like this keyboard. Another thing about the keyboard, though, take a look at our button placements here. I wish these were home and page up, page down buttons instead of mic and volume buttons. That's not great. Uh, as far as home and end, I guess there is dedicated home and end buttons up here, though. So, okay. I guess it's hard to penalize them when you still have dedicated buttons for those things. Um, Home and end, at least. I don't know. Okay, so page up and page down as well in the arrow keys here. Very nice. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in and fired up. Now, as far as the design goes, this is very nice. Minimal bezel. We do have a webcam here at the top. Let me go ahead. We do have a webcam up here at the top still, so that's nice. And then the actual finish, I'm not sure what they used on the finish here, but it feels solid. Let's go and do a little flex test action. Going around, extremely solid, extremely solid. Bit of flex by the keyboard, like almost all the laptops out there. Is it an optomechanical keyboard? I don't believe so. But it is a deeper travel. I can tell this has a pretty nice deep travel to it. I think on the box it says it's 1.8 millimeters or something like that. Yeah, 1.8 millimeters for the key travel, which is pretty good. Okay. All right. Let's continue going around the flex. Okay, so flex. Basically no flex on the wrist rests here at all. Very solid. Into the keyboard now. A bit of flex, especially by the middle section, right around the Y here. We definitely have some flex here. Along the top, minimal flex. Overall, very solid feeling laptop. Because when you use a laptop, you're going to put a lot of weight on the wrist rests, and then you're going to type. And from that perspective, the laptop feels super solid. Cool. Okay, let's get it plugged in and fired up. Something that's a bit interesting is the power plug doesn't quite go all the way in. It's like not quite like it's as far as it goes in. So, but you do also have an LED indicator that it's powered, which I like that. Is this aluminum? I don't think so. It does feel like some kind of, like Alienware does like their, what's it called? Like a material, like a different type of synthetic material for a lot of their Alienware devices, and it feels pretty similar to that. But I think what I read is that it's different than what a lot of the Alienware M15 and like the R4. It's like a different type of material than the R4, but I'm not sure what it is. It I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna say it feels bad or good. It just feels the material feels solid. I don't know. Like I don't think this material is going to like wear out over time, which is the most important thing. Um, in my mind, you want the material to be lasting and durable. And then we have this big center hinge. Hinge is very, very solid feeling, and that's as far back as the hinge will go. Right there, that's 100%. Like I think this would be a good hinge for people like in a car that need a really stiff hinge, because I think this will probably stay very well, or if you're on an airplane. So that's a really good thing. All right, cool. Jay says, "Hey, I want to get an MSI GE76 with a 3080, but I wonder if I should get the AMD or Intel. Any advice? Thanks." Is there an AMD version of the GE76 now? Did I miss? Did I miss that? Because as far as I know, there's only an Intel version of that. I can tell this display is nice quality. Good colors on the display so far. All right, and I need to reposition this. Be right in front. All right. So taking a closer look at the keyboard itself, um, we'll wait until we get actually into this Alienware software, so I can set it to be the different colors. But this keyboard should be able to do a 4-zone RGB, I believe. Screen bleed test, not a bad idea. I don't notice any so far, but it's hard to tell. I'm in a really bright room right now, so it's hard to tell when you're in a bright room. You have to kind of like make the room dark to be able to tell that very easily. Best laptop for coding under 1500. Probably one with a number pad. Something like the Aorus 15G has a number pad and a 15-inch for 1500. RTX 3060. Something like that is probably the one I'd recommend. Is the 10th gen i7 6-core better than the new i7 4 cores? um, those it depends on what you're looking to do and what game you're doing, but they're going to be pretty close, I believe, in a lot of aspects. Like some games, they need better single core or one or two cores. Um, the 11th gen 4 core is probably a little better, but I think games that can take advantage of all 6 cores, I think will probably do a little better with the 10th gen 6 core. Difference between this laptop build quality and the Lenovo Legion 7. So the Lenovo Legion 7, um, initial impressions, I feel like the Legion 7 was a little bit better build quality because it's all metal. Where I can tell this is, I don't think it's metal. It could be metal with like a coating of something over it, but as far as I can tell, it's not. You can see on the back, this is pretty cool. We've got the Alienware logo and we've got a round RGB strip. And I believe this does a full circular circle thing, like a rainbow circle, like on the Area 51M. Did I get the Cherry MX mechanical keyboard? I don't believe so. I believe this is the base model. Um, Let me try signing in here real quick so I can get the exact unit that I ordered. So I know the exact specs. But I believe this was the base model, cheapest RTX 3060 version I could get at the time when I ordered it, but they did change around their models and what they offered. So there it is. Okay, so this one cost uh, looks like so out the door final price. This one was $18.92 including tax, and it does not specify exactly. Okay, but it doesn't feel like Cherry MX switches. So this one has the Ryzen 5800H, RTX 3060 with 6 gigs of DDR6, 360 hertz display with NVIDIA G-Sync and Advanced Optimus, which was one of the most curious things, most important things I wanted to test. Then we have the 4-zone Alien FX RGB keyboard, so not the Cherry MX one. Okay, so good to have all that clarified. This laptop has the worst sound system. Really? Well, I have to try seeing how bad it sounds. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's better than you're saying. Uh, Mashit Channel said that this R5 model Dell did something to no user upgrade the SSD themselves. Interesting. I'll have to check that, Jones Laura. I don't know what they meant by that. Maybe they're because I'm pretty sure you can change the SSD on the inside. I would. This would be the first laptop I've ever tested that didn't allow you to do that. If that's the case. For esports, the i7 10th gen versus i7 11th gen 4 core. Depends on the game you're playing, but they should both perform pretty well in general, like enough for most esports titles. But if it was me, because I also do video editing, I would get the 6 core i7 10th gen. Razer Blade 15 review win. Oh, I think Razer said they were going to send me one. I believe. I have to double check. I need to check me. I need to double check the thread there. But I was talking with them. They contacted me again, so maybe they'll send me something. What's the RTX 3060 TDP? I'm not sure yet because I haven't seen anyone officially report it, but I believe it's going to be on the max performance side of things. So I'm expecting over 100 watts. I'm hoping 115 to 130, but I don't know for sure yet. Is it worth to have this laptop paired with a 49-inch monitor? Sure. I mean, it depends on what resolution you're trying to push out. I mean, if you're trying to do 4K gaming on a 49-inch monitor, you definitely want to get the 3070 version of this laptop instead of the 3060 and get as much RAM as you can. But in general, I would say a 49-inch monitor, if you're trying to do 4K, it's going to be better if you can get a 3070 or 3080 with higher VRAM amounts because you're going to run into VRAM problems running 4K gaming, I think. M15 R4 has a 140 watt TDP 3060. Are are you serious? I don't know about that. I've never heard of a 140 watt TDP 3060. If that's okay, so someone else says it's 115 to 125, which sounds much more reasonable. Well, we'll find out, right? We'll find out what the TDP is as soon as it's done doing these updates. So let's go ahead and take a look at the keyboard with the lights off. Since we're waiting. Okay, so impressions of the brightness on the keyboard are good. It looks like the secondary functions on the keys, though, are not lit up. So the @ symbol, exclamation mark, number sign, they're not lit up, which is a big bummer because that makes it a little bit harder when you need to find those secondary functions. Um, that said, it generally will work just fine for most people, but I do prefer an LED keyboard that has everything lit up. Okay, and we'll take another look at this when the software setup and we can change the colors here. But that looks so sick. The back LED strip looks really cool, I think. Scapo. That's Darren, everybody. Said this Darren Scapo, he's the one that helps me film sometimes. He films a lot of the B-roll for the channel. Um, he says, how many SSD drives can it take? How many USB-C ports? It's one USB-C port on the back. And I would expect 2 SSD spots, but I'm not sure. We need to open it up and check it out. What's your top recommended laptop for video editors? Also, here's a coffee super chat. LOL. So okay, we're just waiting on this to do the update still. Top video. Let's talk spreadsheet time because this is gonna be a good segue to checking out the spreadsheet here. Um, so you can see the Alienware M15 R5 is right here on my sheet. This is my comparison sheet between all the different RTX 3000 laptops out there. So if you're in the market, I recommend checking out this sheet and comparing performance as well as cost and price. And there's links to all the options. So if you're curious, what are all of your options around a $1,500 price point or $1,800 price point? This is a good place to start to just compare options and shop around. So this is the model right here that we've got for testing today. You can see the top competitors with this model is going to be, I believe, the GP Leopard 66 with an RTX 3070, either the i7 10th gen version or the i7 11th gen version, which costs a bit more. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, so this is the one I did a live unboxing of this the other day, and I was very impressed with it as well. But this is going to be one of the top competitors. Not really much RGB on this laptop. Uh, so just taking a quick look over here at this guy. Not much RGB, but it is a nice all metal high quality build with good performance and high TDP on the CPU and GPU. So I was pretty impressed with the FPS I was getting with it. And the temperatures were still pretty good. The CPU temperatures did get pretty high though, as the downside. Now, another one to consider instead of this one around the $1,800 price point would be the Aorus 15P. So in response to your question, Darren, I believe the Aorus 15P would be a great option for a video editor. This is with the i7 11800H. So this is the 11th gen new one. And we've got a 115 watt. It says now here. It says 130. You used to say 130 here. Now it says, oh, this is the 3060. This is a 3060. So that's why. And so the 15P is the higher performance version, and there should be another one, the Aorus 15P. Here it is. Okay, so this is the 3070 for 1900. This would be the model I would recommend for a lot of people as well, or to consider. And then another great video editing laptop would be the Asus Strix G15 or 17. So these ones have very high TDP Ryzen 9 5900HX processors, which are going to be great for video editing as well. So if you need something smaller, lighter, and more portable, the Zephyrus series is really good. The Zephyrus G15 and G14. Those will put out really good performance for their size. Okay, we are still doing some updates. We still update, y'all. Will an 8-core ever outperform? Let's hear. Will an 8-core over? Will an 8-core over a 6 processor heavily improve Fortnite performance? I don't think so, Swervesy. What matters more is how is the quality of the processor, how high of a clock speed it can do, I believe, for Fortnite. So you're ideally, I think, looking for like 1 to 2 cores in Fortnite. being as high TDP as possible and high clock speed as possible, with good memory speed and then a reasonably high performance GPU as well, probably an RTX 3060 or higher for Fortnite. Have I heard about the HP Invictus 16? I have not, I don't think. Let's take a look. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I need to do more investigating on all these new laptops that are coming out with the 11th gen. A lot of laptops were announced. So here is a 16-inch laptop by HP, a Ryzen 7, 1080p, 300 nits, 100% sRGB, 16.1-inch display. Very interesting. Does this have a GPU? Hmm. Integrated graphics. Says discrete. Okay, RTX 3050 Ti in this model at least. The 3050 Ti just doesn't make sense to me unless it's priced right though. So that's the only downside. But yeah, I'll have to take a closer look at what models they offer. Um, has promising potential from the looks of it though, but I just wouldn't bank on it. I don't know. I'd be careful putting too much hope in it unless you can get a 3060. I'm not sure what all the configuration options are and what the price point is though. I'll try to add that to the sheet um, either tonight or tomorrow. So what's so special about the Alienware that I can upgrade, and which parts can I upgrade, Gizmo? So in the so you're gonna with Alienware, you're gonna typically want to get your upgrades done at the initial purchase. So if you want to get, because you can't change a lot of things. Like you're not going to be able to change the processor or the GPU, which are the two most important things. Um, I believe you can swap the RAM on this one. I need to open the bottom and find out, but we've been sitting here at the important stuff to do now for ever. Um, so basically, I believe the two things you can typically upgrade are going to be the RAM and the SSD, but I'm not sure. Chad, do you guys know if you can change out the RAM? Does it seem like Max P variant is in this? Is it full powered? We're not sure yet, Sam. We're going to find out with some tests coming up here soon. Ryzen 9 5900 HX laptop jumps to 90 to 96C while gaming. Is that okay? Yeah, it should be okay. It's just the downside is if you ever thermal throttle at like 95, 96C, that might cause stuttering in your gameplay, which is not great. So ideally, I try to prevent any thermal throttling because you don't want that stuttering to happen. Um, yes, you can change the RAM on the R5, Falling Pixel says. RAM, yes. Okay, cool. We can upgrade the RAM and SSD in typically every laptop. Yes, but it's the thing is in the previous Alienware M15 and M17 the RAM was soldered on, so this is an improvement for Alienware. RAM is upgradable, but for the SSD you need a proprietary mount. Oh, maybe that's what they're talking about. That's what the other comment was talking about. Maybe the SSD is a special build you need for it. That would be kind of a bummer if the case. I'm curious. We'll try to take the bottom off here, um, if this setup ever finishes. Will this laptop be good for 3D modeling and rendering? Which one would you recommend? For 3D modeling and rendering, you'll definitely want a good GPU. So I would suggest going probably with like a 3070 or 3080. Um, the Scar 15 RTX 3080 for 2000 is probably the best one, best bang for the buck at the $2,000 mark. But um, other really good ones would probably be like the GP66 Leopard with an RTX 3070 for $18.99. That'll be pretty easy to get, I think. Was there any explanation of why they gimped the GPU for the Ryzen edition? Um, So Jars, I'm not sure in which way you mean that they gimped it by not including the RTX 3080 potentially. Uh, z- King Cobra says, "Do you think it's glitched?" It might be, but a lot of people, there's a lot of Windows updates, and maybe it's just going through a bunch of Windows updates. Gizmo, why isn't nobody talking about the Strix G17? Well, I think the Strix G17 was talked about a lot in the initial launch, and a lot of videos were made about it then. And now they're just moving on to other laptops, because everyone knows about the Strix G17 now. Based on your experience with the MSI GP66, do you think a 45-watt i7 11800H will outperform the 35-watt R9 5900H? So the I think in gaming the Intel will beat the R9, at least in a lot of the games. Maybe some of them the Ryzen will still win, like perhaps maybe in Red Dead Redemption. Um, and then for multi-core performance, it's going to be really close, I think. At least in the GP66 with the Cinebench, we got over 5,000 or right around 4,900, which was really impressive. So a big jump up from Intel, which previously scored only about 4,300 in the same laptop. The 3070 version also only gets 125 watt, which is lower than the R4's 140 watt 3070. So the thing is, this is a different chassis, and I believe the M15 R4, which is a 15-inch chassis. Let me double check, but looking here, the M15 R4, I don't know what that got, but I believe that the 3060 version was only up to 130 watt, I believe. So if this only goes to 125, that'd be only 5 watts less. But I believe this is a different chassis, right? We have swappable memory, so they have a different memory. They have a different motherboard design on this chassis, and I would probably attribute the lower TDP to them having to redesign the internals rather than to something malicious like, oh, they're just trying to gimp Ryzen laptops or something like that. Because I mean, if that was their goal, why'd they even make this laptop in the first place? Like their Dell's goal is obviously to make as much money as possible from this. Is this the mechanical keyboard? No, but there is a Cherry MX version, I believe, with the keyboard that you can buy. This is the default keyboard. Hey, Microsoft Word, it's better you go to RTX series. That's the future, and GTX will be discontinued. I think you were responding to which GTX is better, 1080 or 1560? I believe you meant 1650. A 1080 would be better than a 1650, I believe, by a long shot. Uh, do you have any idea when the Intel 11th gen version of the Zephyrus Duo will be launched? I don't know, Jones. I'm not sure. Please add the Legion 7 AMD and Intel variant and 3080 to the spreadsheet. So when I find them available for sale, Abdullah, that's when I add them to the sheet. Um, that's the weird part, right? Because in America, we can't buy the Legion 7 yet, but in other parts of the world, you can. And so that's kind of why a lot of people want me to add it to the sheet. And maybe I just add it to the sheet without any links to it, especially since I have one on hand and I've been quoted a price from Lenovo. But that's typically been my rule on the sheet is that if people can actually buy it, I add it to the sheet. Um, but yeah, I should go ahead and add it. Did you hear about the 16 gig RAM issue in the i5 Pro 3070? Should I get the 32 gig instead? So I would recommend if you want to get the maximize the gaming performance, um, you'll probably want to get the laptop in hand first and do some tests on what memory they sent you. The game I'd recommend testing is probably the Shadow of the Tomb Raider because it's the most memory sensitive game. So what you do is you run that test and then you find out if your laptop is underperforming compared to similar or identical spec models from other laptop manufacturers. And if it is underperforming, it's probably because you don't have RAM with the fastest timings. And so that's when I would recommend upgrading your RAM to a RAM that has better timings. And then you probably get about a 10% performance boost in any kind of RAM sensitive type of game. I saw a 14% performance boost in the Strix G17 um, when I swapped the RAM out to a RAM with better timings. How is the Omen 15Z with the R7 and 3070? Um, as long as you get it for the right price, I think it could be worth it. Yashwant. Um, the thing about the Omen is that it is a 100 watt TDP on the GPU, so you're not getting maximum TDP, but still good. Still reasonable, you know. So if you're getting like I've seen that 3070 on sale for pretty reasonable prices, like $1,500, $1,600 to get a 3070. So that's a really good deal, I think. What do you think the best laptop with a 3080 in it around for 2000? As far as I know, there's only two laptops that have an RTX 3080 for 2000 or less, and that's the Zephyrus G15 and the Strix Scar 15. And those two models almost always sell out nonstop. Could you try undervolting on this laptop? I don't believe you're going to be able to undervolt this as well. There's no tool for undervolting the Ryzen 5000 CPU so far, that I'm aware of at least. How's your Scar 15 holding up? Thinking of getting the Ryzen 7 3070 version? Um, what would be the difference with your variant? So the CPU would probably be about 5 to 10% slower, and then the 3070 would also be about 7 to 12% slower. So not massive difference in performance really. And I have been using the Scar 15 pretty much daily, and it's holding up pretty solid. Like no issues with the build quality aside from the little creak on the left wrist rest. Um, and then I have had the one thing I'll say with the my experience with the Scar 15 is that certain games just don't get quite as high a FPS because the games are probably optimized for Intel CPUs. So that's kind of the only trade-off I think. But in return for that trade-off, I feel like I've gotten really good thermals on a 15-inch laptop that has performed really well for video editing for me, and has a great display. Love the RGB of the keyboard, and the keyboard itself is a joy to type on. I really liked the keyboard. Any 5800H plus 3070 laptops for $1,600 to $1,700. Yeah, the Omen 15Z should be right around that price point, Skylar J. And then, so taking a look, I mean, while we're waiting, we can take a look here. So I can hit Control F to type in 3070, and this will show me all the laptops with the 3070. So you can see right now that the cheapest RTX 3070 is this one. We've got a Ryzen 7 5800H RTX 3070 um, for 1509 as the base price. I don't know if it's sold out right now or if the prices have changed since I last added it or checked this, but let's go ahead and take a look in here. This is going to be a 100 watt, I believe, cap on this, and it looks like it is available right now. So you can get the 3070 version, and okay, so the cheapest version of the 3070 is 1459, which is really good, but you're going to want to get the RAM upgrade as well. Either you can do this one or you can buy your own RAM and put it in. And then you can upgrade to the QHD display as well here. So you can get a QHD Ryzen 7 5800H RTX 3070. Wow, that's a really nice build actually, I think, for 1669. So, I mean, this is a great option, I think, for a lot of people. If you're if this checks a lot of bells and whistles for you, this is a good potential, I believe, for a lot of people, especially if you're on more of a budget and you're wanting to get a lot of performance in a reasonable form factor. But I wouldn't say it's going to give you the very best performance per dollar or per. It's gonna be up there. It's gonna be up there. This one, you can see that our performance per dollar right here is 621 with this benchmark that someone did. Um, so 621 is very high, but it's not. It's not like I think the very top of the chart is going to be more like 7. You know, the very top of the performance per dollar is right here, like right around 756, and that's the Legion 5. 749. That's the Gigabyte G5. Um, so it's just going to depend on the laptop. But the more power you get in your laptop, typically the less performance per dollar you'll get back because you're basically sacrificing. Um, you're basically sacrificing money per dollar for additional performance. Like the the more performance you get, the more expensive those last 10, 20, 30% gains become, typically. Man, this is taking a while to do this. Maybe we should try to restart this laptop. How much will the G15 GPU wattage GIMP performance? I really like the build and battery life. I don't think it'll really GIMP performance much at all. I guess I'm not sure why you would say that it would GIMP performance because it's up to 130 watt with the Strix G15, unless you're talking with Zephyrus G15. If you're talking Zephyrus G15, I recommend watching my review on that one. I did a lot of comparisons and performance analysis on that one. I made a performance analysis video on it. Yeah, psoriasis says these R5 and new G15 have issues for second SSD installation. By the way, it doesn't come with a 2280 size mounting bracket. This is some other people are mentioning you're gonna need something specialized for it. I want to take the bottom off and take a look at it, but we're sitting here waiting for setup. So I really don't want to force this thing to restart right now, but because that can tank Windows if we force it off right now. The only full HD version of the Scar 15 is the 3070. Should I go for it or wait for the QHD, which may or may not come? I think on a 15-inch chassis, it's fine to go for the full HD. It's not that important to get the QHD. It's just a nice bonus if you can. Get it? Any predictions on the price of the Legion 5 with RTX 3070? No, I don't have any predictions. I don't have any info on that. I expect it to be competitive with a lot of the other moderately priced laptops, though. With the TDP that low, I wonder how low the 3080 will boost. The X3070 for sure. Generally speaking, how much is the performance increase going with a 17-inch chassis over a 15-inch chassis? 10%? Jars, that entirely depends on the design. Don't just assume a 17-inch chassis is going to perform better than a 15-inch chassis because, for example, with the Aorus 17G and 15G, the 15G actually had higher performance than the 17G, which was interesting. So, any news about the Alienware X17? Not that I know of, Niles. Thanks for pronouncing my name almost correctly. I am so sorry. Psoriasis? I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Any laptop for 1300 with a 3060 and a possible 8 core? Not the Omen. 8 core 1300 3060? I don't know. I believe you might be out of luck there. You might have to go up to 1400 to get what you're looking for. Maybe. I mean, so Asus ToughDash A15 has an 8 core with a 3060, and that one would meet your needs. I guess yeah, there's several of them. The Legion 5 would also be that. Um, Then you have the Omen 15Z, which you said you were not interested in. That's fine. The Gigabyte A5 would also be in that category. The Tough A17 would be in that category. Um, the MSI Pulse is not because it's not a 3060, and I wouldn't really recommend it because it's a low TDP anyway. Yeah, so I mean your options are the Tough series, the Omen 15Z, and the Legion series if you want to get an 8-core 3060 for less than 1300. Do all the Thunderbolt 4 laptops support USB-C charging? No, they do not. About half of them do, half of them don't. Depends. Reinstall Windows. People on Reddit have same issue with laptop not loading Windows correctly. Okay, DJ Red and Rocket Man. We're gonna force this sucker off. We're just gonna do a good old forced restart because, well, I will find out. Okay, I guess I've double tapped it, so I'll put it to sleep. But okay, let's try it. I mean, we might be here. Slide to shut your PC down. What? Wait, what? I've never seen. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it down. It should force it just completely off if you hold it for 10 seconds. There we go. How much time did Dell take to deliver this? It was 3 weeks, but I also pre-ordered it before it was officially for sale, so I'm not sure how long it would take right now to get if you ordered it. I would say just look at their estimate. I believe mine arrived a few days after their estimate, but it was pretty close to their estimated delivery time. Updating your system 100% done. Just a moment, okay? Please load for me. Interesting. Thunderbolt 4 is based on USB 4 spec. I know that they're very similar. They have identical base specs. USB-C consortium now mandates USB 4 to have charging support. But that's the thing. Every Thunderbolt 4 I've seen has USB-C charging, but not all USB-Cs are Thunderbolt 4. So a lot of laptops that don't have Thunderbolt 4 um, are going to not have USB-C charging this year. But a lot of the Intel 11th Gen ones will have Thunderbolt 4, so it just depends on your laptop. Just take it on a case-by-case basis. The main thing I was saying is not to just assume that it has USB-C charging without checking. Would you choose this over the HP Omen 15? Me personally, I probably would if price wasn't an issue, because this is more expensive than the Omen. The Omen's better for the budget. Um, but this has a higher TDP than the Omen, which I like. And hey, we're logging in, we're doing stuff. And then the other thing is this this machine. I like the design. I just like Alienware designs a little bit better. I like the Alienware keyboard. I like the experience that Alienware provides in general. Um, a little bit more than the Omen. Oh, use your face to sign in faster. Yes, please. Okay, I probably. Oh, that's cool. That is pretty cool. I did not realize this had face recognition. Did you guys know that it had face recognition? Because I didn't know that it had face recognition. Nice. I love it. I love Windows Hello in general, you know? I think Windows Hello is super useful and super handy. It's like makes logging in so much less of a pain, you know? My Razer Blade Pro 17 had it, and I loved it on that one. It's not like a must buy. Like I don't think you need to have face recognition, when it's low face recognition, but it's is really nice having it. It's certainly a pro. A big pro slash advantage for this laptop, without a doubt. Let's get this set up just right. Okay, center, and now we'll set it up to be just right. Okay. Microsoft has now uploaded your face to the police database. kind of, Justin. Will I get 300 FPS in Valorant with the SCAR 15 3070 if I use an external monitor? It'd be probably pretty close to 300 FPS. Which will do better in Fortnite? An i7 10750H 2070, uh, or an RTX 2060 with an i7 10875H? Well, I would rather get the 2070 Super, probably, because they're both max Qs. So Arnold Schwarzenegger was asked to update his laptop to Windows 10, but he said, "I still love Vista, baby." Oh my god. Oh my god. Recommend a gaming laptop that has solid GPU performance and Ryzen CPU for a decent price of 1,800 to 2,500 USD. Um, hmm. I would say get the Scar 15, 3080 for 2,000, if that's your price range. I think that's the best bang for the buck all around. Okay, we are in Windows now. I'm glad we forced this thing off because we probably would have been sitting at that display forever. Oh, that's a cool background. So that's the default background. But thank you so much for the super chat, Hero. Okay, so very cool. Let's start updating stuff. You know, and then let's start copying stuff, and then we'll get. We're gonna test Valorant today. Will be our game. That we'll test, and then I'll have full tests of this coming up very soon. Wow, we got a lot of stuff to install from AMD and Dell. New firmware right here. Looks like it's going to install .NET framework, a new NVIDIA driver here, which is interesting that it's doing NVIDIA updates through Windows Update. But looks like we got lots of stuff to download. All right, and we got stuff in here we got to configure and download as well before we can do our tests. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Cool. All right. Get those copying. Is 11th gen Intel better than Ryzen? I think for gaming, I'm going to generally say Intel 11th gen is going to be a little bit better for gaming, based on my initial tests with the GP66. How much better? Not by much. And then for multi-core performance, I still need to do more testing to see, but I think it's going to be close. I think with Ryzen eking out a small victory, but we'll see. How's the screen, yo? Screen looks like a high quality, really high quality screen, actually. So this is the 360 hertz refresh rate display, which is pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, it looks really good. Um, yeah, very fast response rate. I can tell. Very smooth. Love it. Um, as far as color goes, I mean, it's hard to tell. Right? I don't have anything very colorful on the display. Windows. We've updated Windows to bring you the latest. Blah blah blah. Um, how's the Omen 15Z with R7 and 3070? Good for the price, I think, but it's not like the top performing laptop because it's a lower TDP. Ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is download Firefox. It's worth doing this before everything else. Always watching this before I fall asleep. Oh well. I put you to sleep, huh? Is that why you watch this? I'm just kidding. Um, yeah. It's, my sultry voice can put anyone to sleep, right? Um, okie dokie. Let's get Steam installed. Steam is installing. All right. And then we're going to do Valorant, but we'll do Valorant install after Windows updates go through. Looks like it's still in the middle of installing stuff, so. But thanks so much for the super chat again, Hero. How long do you plan on using my Scar 15? Kritish, I think I'm going to swap out my Scar 15 for a. I'm not sure. I'm tempted to swap it out for an Alienware X17, but I'm not sure. Well, I need to see what kind of specs they offer on that. But if it's the right specs, I might go for it. Edge is better. I don't know about that, curious nerd. I don't know about that. Is the Mux switch very important? Why HP Omen only gaming laptop with its specs not sold out? Is it bad? Well, HP and Dell both have massive access to components and parts. So they're able to, I think, make a lot more laptops in general. So that's probably the number one reason why I would say they're not sold out. When MSI and Asus were selling out, I think they just didn't have as tight of ties, I think, to AMD and Intel and Nvidia. So they weren't getting as prioritized for components. But I don't know. I, that's all hearsay. There's nothing official there. That's just me speaking off the cuff. So I don't have any official info on that. The X17 is awesome. That thing is so sexy. It certainly seems like a really cool potential laptop, and I do prefer a 17-inch laptop. But the main reason, and this is going to not apply to very many of you guys at all, it's because Black Desert Online, this game, one of the games that I play, uh, it's a game that I really enjoy playing, but I think that particular game handles better on an Intel CPU. It's just more optimized, and it's a very clunky game engine that game has. Um, that said, I've had issues with Intel running that game too. That game is just a really clunky game engine. But I tried running BDO Black Desert Online on the GP66 yesterday, and it ran at a higher FPS than my Scar 15 because it's a CPU bound game. Um, and higher FPS in that game actually means you can do more damage, which is that's how bad the game is designed. So if I switch, that might be one of the reasons I'll switch. We'll see. Going for an 11th gen Intel to get higher FPS to do more damage in the game. Do we miss any benchmarks? No, we have not done any benchmarks yet. We are updating drivers before we can do benchmarks. Windows is updating right now. I will test Apex Legends with the live benchmarks live stream. Yeshwanth. Because of the quad fan design, the new X17 removed the number pad to make space for extra vents on the top. Interesting. Interesting. Nice. A guy with an i7 11800H overclocked achieved 11717 CPU score on Timespy by XTU overclocking. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 100-watt RTX 3070 versus 130-watt RTX 3060. I believe the 3070 would beat a 3060 at that. Yeah, pretty easily, at least in Timespy. A 3070 100-watt, it's going to do like 9300, 9400, and 130-watt RTX 3060 is going to do like 8900 or 8800. So you're going to get more performance most likely from a 3070 100-watt. Will I get 300 FPS on Fortnite with a 2060 i7 and a Mux? Maybe in certain sections of the game you would, Swarzy. It'd be pretty close. Okay, looks like Windows Update's ready to restart. Let's go ahead and give it a restart. Is the Zephyrus G15 really king of laptops with price to value offered? No, it's not. Um, the Zephyrus G15 is more like, I wouldn't even call it king. I would call it a solid price to performance, but it's solid price to performance meets portable, right? So you're getting something that's portable and also has good performance and is not overpriced. That's kind of like the combination there going on. But it's not the best price to performance because it's not the highest TDP for the money. With $1,800 hard budget, is the ROG Strix G17 still best bang for the buck? Um, hmm, probably pretty close to the. It's pretty close to the best bang for the buck. But it depends on what game you play. If you need a mux switch, then no. If you don't need a mux switch because you don't play CPU bound games, then it's going to be tied or very very close to the best bang for the buck. At that price point, if you go down to $1,300, you can get a 3060 that's technically better bang for the buck. But I didn't expect you to pronounce my name that well. Yay! I didn't fail. I plan on streaming. Is a gaming laptop powerful enough to stream PC games? Well, right now, Kober might. It depends a lot on what game you play and how optimized it is and how well you set up everything. Okay. Looks like we updated our firmware when I was looking away. Success. Continue, please. Installing system update. Cool. We're updating firmware and BIOS and everything like that all automatically. Thank you, Dell. This is nice. Um, so I would say this much that with a gaming laptop, you're going to be able to stream, but with just like almost every machine on the market, whenever you stream and play games at the same time, you'll have reduced frame rate in the games that you play, at least depending on how you set up the stream. Like if you use an external video out PC capture card, so I have two capture cards going on right now, actually. So this is a 4K. Let's turn the camera. So if you're streaming, having a capture card like this is a USB capture card right here. Elgato 4K Cam Link. That will help reduce the load on the computer dramatically. Um, and what you do, well, technically, well, okay. Kind of, I guess. It depends, but basically the video encoding process is offloaded from the CPU and GPU onto the capture card, and then you just take that video signal and route it out through the stream. So that can offload some of it, but ideally what you do is if you want to have the very best performance, what you do is you have a second stream PC. Like you could use your old laptop, for example, as the streaming PC. You export your video through HDMI to one of these capture cards to that old PC, and then you stream off that old PC. Um, and then you have 100% of the gaming performance on your main computer. And you're just exporting the video through HDMI, like as if you're using an external monitor. Oh, and the facial recognition picked me up and logged me in instantly. Love it. But yeah, I would definitely highly recommend using if you want, like, no matter what PC, even a desktop is gonna have reduced performance when streaming games. If it's like if you're using the CPU to encode and it's a CPU bound game, it's gonna impact game performance. If it's not a CPU bound game, then it shouldn't. You should be able to stream, like if you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2 or something like that, and you're streaming, you shouldn't it shouldn't affect you. But it may require tuning and Um, it may require some fine tuning of like how you're encoding the video and what codec you're using and stuff like that. Anyway, switch. Okay, we have switched. Okay, let's check Windows Update again. Windows Update, go. Best laptop for a $2,200 budget. Um, Probably the Strix 15 RTX 3080 for 2,000. How long do you think the Scar 15 will last for in terms of gaming and general productivity? I think it would last a long time. Like general gaming and productivity, you'll be able to play the latest games for probably 2 to 3 years at near max settings, I think. But it all depends on like, do you want absolute max, or are you okay running at 2x anti-aliasing instead of 8x? You know, stuff like that. And it depends on what games come out in the future too, because even certain games that are very poorly optimized still don't run very well on the current gen hardware. Like, for example, Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is trash optimization, and you only get like 30 FPS on the very best computers. So, um, okay, is the HP Omen CPU running at full or lower TDP? It's pretty high TDP, I believe, but it took me doing a updated BIOS to get the full potential. Because during my live stream, it did not do very well on the initial tests. But once I updated the firmware, it tested a lot better, higher performance. So we need to get get all the stuffs downloaded here. And so we need to get 3D Mark. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. I think I'm fat fingering this. There we go. I typed it correctly. Oh, I have it misspelled. My username is misspelled. That would help. Hey, it worked. Okay. You say Omen is a 35 watt? No, it definitely goes higher than 35 watts. At least when it's a CPU only load, but it just depends on what kind of load you're running. Maybe it's 35 watts when you do both CPU and GPU engaged. I haven't done my full review on the Omen yet or my live benchmarking yet, so I need to get that. I need to get that done, and then I'll be able to get you more information on the Omen. Have I tested the Legion 5 Pro? No, I have not. Would I like to test the 5 Pro? Yes, I would. And maybe Lenovo will send me one because they just sent me the Legion 7. So I just need to keep testing and making more videos, and more people will send me stuff. How much you get that M15, bro? I think it was 1744 plus shipping and tax. I think it was about 1800 something total price after everything is said and done. But 1744 retail price. Okay, so we're gonna install 3D Mark, get Timespy installing, and then we need to get our NVIDIA drivers, make sure we're updated on those. And we also need to make sure that our Alienware driver, my Alienware. Okay, so this looks like their new software. Mobile Connect. You complete PC and smartphone wireless integration. Access calls, text, notifications, and mobile apps all from your PC screen. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It'll help compete maybe with the likes of Dell and, sorry, the likes of Apple integration. Okay. Um, where is the command center? Alienware Command Center. This is what I was looking for. Adjust my lighting. Yes, please. Okay, so Rainbow Wave, all zones, save, and Rainbow Wave, here as well, save. Interesting. Yes. Did it save? See, this is one of the downsides I think of the Alienware laptops is that this software adjusting your lighting and your lighting, and if you try to use this for overclocking, and if you need to update it, the Alienware Command Center is really poorly designed, I think, and is not very user friendly. Like this is just not responding to me now. It's like locked up. Okay, so I am not getting the rainbow wave. I'm just getting static blue. On the back, do we have cool lights on the back? We got the rainbow wave on the back. All right, so we're halfway there. That looks awesome. But let's try to get rainbow wave working on the front. So, yeah. So why would anyone buy this laptop for the same price when you can get something like the Strix G17? So for example, Velati, this one has Advanced Optimus, which is very convenient, and the Strix G17 doesn't even have a mux switch, so that's that's part of it. So you're going to get better CPU bound game performance in this laptop, almost for sure. Okay, so we want select all zones. We'll try morph. Can we save that? We'll try rainbow wave. This is really weird. Hey, there's the keyboard. Rainbow wave. Save. Hey, yep. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, so let's turn the lights off and take a look at this keyboard again. Okay, so you can very clearly see this is not a per key RGB. We have 4 zones, and it's moving through the colors on the keyboard. Pretty cool. Definitely very colorful, and it's reasonably bright, I would say, but not like it's not like hyper bright. And let's see, maybe we can make it brighter. No. And trying to find the keyboard brightness. Oh, so that just activates and deactivates it. And that's screen brightness. So it looks like by default, you do not press the FN button. These are set to be the secondary functions for the F1 through 10 keys, which I actually like that, but it's something you have to get used to because I'm used to pressing the FN button. So this looks like you can change the fan profiles with this button, the F1 key. Okay, so and let's take a look at the back. Watcha. That looks really cool, huh? Yeah, this is a pretty awesome laptop for design wise. Definitely has some gamer appeal without a doubt. Let's go ahead and turn the lights back on. That said, um, I do believe the Legion 7 and the Strix series both look a little bit better for the lighting and customization options. Okay, so we're gonna go full speed for our thermal profile, and we're gonna set to high performance. Cool. Hmm. Full speed is supposed to. I thought full speed was supposed to make it, actually go max fans. At least that's what it used to do on my Area 51M, but it's not doing that right now. Okay, well, we're set on that. Let's go ahead and download the new GeForce drivers. Why am I using Firefox? Because that's the one I prefer to use. Has good settings for privacy. Um, the head on the back can be configured as well, but the power button so far has not been able to change. Looks like the power button is shifting colors around on me, but I'm not sure if it because it. I basically told it to shift colors, so it seems like it's doing what I said to do. But how does the iQ RGB software affect performance? I'm not sure. Someone was mentioning that it could affect it. Not sure why someone would need a QHD for productivity on a 15-inch gaming laptop. So it would be for like using spreadsheets mainly, because I actually really appreciate having a QHD display on my Scar 15 because I deal with spreadsheets every day. You can see more in the spreadsheet and see more detail in the text, basically. But I don't think it's super necessary unless you have like really good vision. And I do prefer Firefox over Chrome because Firefox uses less resources, is the reason. I read that getting a full HD in 2021 is a mistake and one should get a QHD instead. Is that true? Um, for screen sizes above 17-inch, I definitely recommend QHD. 15-inch, I think, is where like it's okay to go full HD, though I prefer to get QHD when possible. I heard some people got early machines. That's because of the missing metal support clips, so you can't install an internal SSD. Could you do a quick teardown to confirm this? Alvaret, I do want to take the bottom off. Um, that is one of the things that I'm looking to do here. We should probably do that here next. Just need to complete this restart and then shut it off. Okay. And facial recognition worked again. All right. We are installing NVIDIA. Let us go through. So Alienware is insanely expensive. With Omen, you can upgrade to 64 gigs, but Alienware comes with 32 gigs RAM soldered. So the R5 is not soldered RAM. Arjun Tech. Is the MSI GE76 or the Electronics Max 17 worth it? So I would prefer the GE76 personally between those two, but if you need something that's super thin and light, the Max 17 could be a good option. I think a better comparison to the GE76 would be the Prometheus or the XMG Neo 17, though Electronics doesn't offer the 17-inch version of that. New X17 360 hertz OLED 1440p, not confirmed. That would be an insane display. Sign me up if that is a thing, though I really doubt it's a thing. Will you try overclocking the 11th gen in next reviews? I'd like to try overclocking it at some point for sure. Okay, looks like NVIDIA driver latest is installed now. Hooray. All right, let's go ahead and shut down. Let's try taking the bottom off. It's time to open this puppy up and see what's inside. Doo-doo. All right. So, um, opening up the Alienware laptops is one of the better experiences from in general, I believe. But let's see if this one's easy to open. The Legion 7 was not easy to open. But Alienware typically has a pop-out screw, allowing you to more easily open it up. Now, this is the iFixit tool repair kit for devices. I definitely recommend picking up a toolkit of some kind if you're going to open your laptop up a lot, or in general, just work with different technology, because this will allow you to have all the different screw sizes, a magnetic screwdriver that rotates, and yeah, it's definitely a lot better. And then it also has plastic pop-up things. There are going to be some cheaper options than this, and I believe so. I think that's the pop-up screw right there. I believe there's a link to this toolkit that I'm using in the video description down below. Okay, so that screw does not come out. It is looks like these screws are attached to the casing. No, maybe not. That one came out. What's going on here, Alienware? Are we supposed to take these screws out or no? I can't tell. That one doesn't want to come out. Okay. So this screw also does not want to come out. I think that's a pop-out screw potentially as well, or maybe all of these are going to be pop-out screws. Really interesting. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. Okay. I think this is like a combination of pop-out screws. All four of these on the front seem to be pop-out screws. Because I didn't pry anything open, and it's already got a. I didn't pry anything open, but it's already separated by about an eighth of an inch right here. So that is really, really handy. But it's still not really just immediately popping off, so I'll try to see if I can get this thing to open up. Seems like this screw is still catching on something. Even though it's very clearly fully unscrewed. I'm just going to hear it. Do we need to slide this thing forward? I don't know. This is not coming on. This is not coming undone over here on the right side. So we just have 2 screws that are loose, look from the looks of it. Okay. Let's try to see if this will pop up. There we go. Okay, cool. So I think we just gotta get the rest of these to pop up. And this is where having a plastic prying tool is very important. Do not use a metal tool or a screwdriver or something here. You'll damage your chassis. Huh. Hmm. 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 Uh-huh. Come on. These keep like unpopping and then repopping. I'm afraid I don't want to bend anything over here, so it feels like there's still a screw that's tightened down somewhere. And I don't want to, you know, unscrew this thing. Maybe these need to be fully taken out. Maybe that's what's going on. Let's try just really taking these screws out here. I should probably check the user manual. Dell usually has a good user manual for all their laptops. Because this thing does not want to pop out, and I don't want to force it. Hmm. It really doesn't want me to open this guy. All right, let me take a look at see if there's a manual somewhere. It's a it's a pull out gizmo. Oh God. Okay. Alienware. All right. Alienware M15 R5 user manual. This looks very promising. Base cover. Removing the base cover. Okay. So we have all the screws out then. The 4 in the front, 2 on the sides. Um, so we have to lift up and pull out at the same time. Sorry. Dirty mind. Dirty mind. Okay. Lift up and pull out. So you have to kind of pull it back at the same time you lift it up. Um, let's try this. It clips in by the vents. Yeah. Okay. So so we lift up and pull out. Maybe it's better to do the other camera view. Lift up. There we go. So you just kind of have to wedge it forward at the same time. very specific pressure you have to apply to it, which is up. And as soon as you're up at an angle, you pull it out, basically. Okay. So there's the bottom cover off. And here we are. What do we got going on here? So here is our user replaceable RAM. And this is Samsung RAM. 1 RX16 DDR 3200. Okay. I'm trying to locate our SSD. Looks like here is the first SSD. SSD 1 it says right here. SSD 2. And yes, this is not your standard SSD sizing. So let me give a closer look for you guys here. Lift up and pull out. Slip. Oh God. All right. Here we go. So right here is the SSD, and I imagine I can probably take this metal cover off. Oh, there's 2 screws for the cover. And that's the SSD. Okay. So you have to use a miniature sized SSD here if you're going to upgrade this thing. So just keep that in mind that if you need to upgrade this thing, you got to get the right size, and you might need to get another one of these metal plate things from Alienware. Let me see if I can get a really good close up of that SSD so you can read it even. Can we see that? I'm not sure what size it is. But yeah, okay. So that's the SSD. And this is an inverted motherboard. So that means that if you need to repaste the CPU and GPU, let me get the further top down. All right, so get the cable out of the way here. So if you need to repaste this unit, what you're looking at is a complicated process. You have to take the whole motherboard up and out and then flip it over, basically. This is an 86 watt hour battery. Here's our fans, our exchangeable memory here. Extra SSD slot is right here, but it is also looks like it's the same miniature size. So yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and put this back together and then fire up some tests. Do our Cinebench, Timespy, and play some Valorant. Very nice. Okay. Can I? I just kind of want to get a little bit further back view. There we go. Okay. So that way you can get the whole laptop. All right. So reversing this. Basically, we want to push in, make sure this is snug, and then we can push down. junior high jokes. All right, and there's the laptop again. Let's go ahead and put all the screws in. It can mount you can mount an M.2 2280 SSD, says Rehaz. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I'm not sure what size, but that's what he's saying. Could well be true. Why do you stream at 1 a.m.? This is just I don't know. This is what I've been doing, and it's not 1 a.m. my time. It's 11 o'clock my time. Asmit, we have not found the TDP of this yet. We will though. We're about to do that. Okay. Two 2230 is here. There's a hole for a 2280 screw. Yeah, maybe you could do a full size SSD there. I'm not sure. I'm disappointed, man. He thinks we need a mini SSD, lol. Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay, so I've got an extra larger SSD. We could try seeing if it'll fit. What do you guys think? I'm down to try it. You're I was just mainly copying us what other people were saying. I shouldn't do that. It's confirmed I tried. Does this laptop have Optimus? This has advanced Optimus, Ryan. I'm not sure exactly how well that works. We haven't tested that yet. Okay. Well, before we take this thing and put it back together, let's just see if we can get a full-size drive here or not. Because I mean, I don't even think that fits. Let me see. So, all right. So, as you can see, this is looks like this was designed to have the space in order to set up this full-size SSD. Okay. But it does not have the mount to be able to actually put the screw in here. You need a standoff screw in order to put it in. Yes, Steve, that is correct. It looks like there's another attachment here actually. It looks like there's a design let me see if I can get closer in here. Looks like there's a so like right here, see if I can get the zoom. There. So it looks like there's like a little thing that wedges in right here, and that's where you would mount the screw for this SSD. Does this other side have one of those mounting things? Because if this other side has that piece already, maybe we'd be able to just swap the SSDs out. Dell said they are going to include the mounts moving forward. Oh, thank goodness, Thorsten. That sounds like a much better deal. But I wonder, so I wonder if you can you move the existing standoff from the first SSD? So you can at least upgrade one SSD out of the box. So this is a weird SSD to take out because it doesn't come up at all. It only like slides out. Okay, so there's the mini size SSD taken out. Um, and yes, it does look like you can take out you can slide the existing little mount thing out. Like it is moving us a little bit. So I'm not going to try to actually fully take this out, but it does look like you'll be able to upgrade one of the drives out of the box. And then you can use a full-size one. You just need the extra shoe thing that does the standoff screw. How long does it take when you order this now? 2 weeks? Um, I would say just look at whatever they're estimating for their delivery time. It's going to be the most accurate way to know. Okay, well, I'm glad I went back in there and checked that out. But and thanks, chat, for all you guys trying to convey that info to me. Strix G17 versus GP76, primarily for gaming. I think you're gonna have a better time probably with the GP76 if you're playing Warzone, because you're saying you're gonna play Warzone with it. Because it has a mux and that will definitely boost your Warzone performance. Okay. Very nice. Let's go ahead and close this guy up now. Still quite bad, missing an SSD mount. Yes, so you can upgrade the existing SSD without any additional parts. Um, now, I imagine if I were to contact Dell, they would send me that extra mount at no cost. Almost for sure. I can't imagine them not doing that. I could be wrong, but it's just like a little piece of metal that probably costs them 10 cents and a couple dollars to ship. Um, and it would prevent someone from returning in a very expensive laptop. So USB-C is bad. What? Who is saying that? Please exchange the mounts. No, I'm not going to do that right now. Don't have the time. But I was moving the mount. So plus, if I exchange the mount and switch the SSD to the other one, I don't have Windows installed on the other one. Windows is installed on the current SSD only, so that would extend the stream by like another 45 minutes, and then I have to reinstall all the drivers and Windows updates. It would just not be good. So I advise, generally speaking, don't tighten down all the screws. Kind of do it in a rotating pattern and as you pop in everything. And you want to make sure everything is sitting flush as you go around. Okay. And tightening up the last couple screws. There we go. All right, we should be good to go now. Fire this bad boy up. I hope that was helpful to everyone trying to figure out what's going on inside this laptop. That was very educational for me. So, learned a lot. Now I understand what everyone's talking about. Gizmo available on Twitter. I do have a Twitter that's just for the tech channel. I think it's just Gizmo Slip Tech, I believe. And then I have another Twitter that's like for that booted up fast. I have another Twitter that's for Gizmo Slip Main, but yeah, I don't usually use. I'm not a big Twitter user, so um, I mainly use the community page on YouTube, and then I do live streams and then I post videos. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram, but again, I don't post on those very much. I just haven't really found those platforms to be worth it for all the time it takes to make the content for them. Gizmo, my power went out. Did you say what you think the best 3080 laptop is for under 2300? So Lincoln Stern, I think it's going to depend on what you're looking to get. I mean, the best one for 2300, I'd probably lean toward the GP66 3080, probably. Um, if you care about having a mux switch at all and CPU bound game performance. If you want to save $300 and go with the Scar 15 3080 for 2000, that's also, I think, probably technically a better bang for the buck, but also depends on what kind of games you play. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and open GeForce Experience and turn off the overlay. Turn off Windows overlay. And then we are going to load into we're going to load into our Timespy test. We're almost ready. We got to configure Afterburner, install Afterburner. I'm hoping this Afterburner will work just fine. It probably will. I might have to go download the other version of Afterburner. I need to update my benchmarks files that I copy over. Okay, so you can see we got a Ryzen 7 5800H, RTX 3060. One of the latest drivers successfully installed. We are going to go to NVIDIA control panel. And let's pull up our info and see our ports. Oh, look, manage display mode. In here, we can manually select if we want Optimus or NVIDIA GPU only. Current stat, and it tells you your current status, so you know what GPU you're on here. I love this. This is cool. What is the screen panel? Screen panel is a full HD 360 hertz with advanced Optimus. Let's try switching to the NVIDIA GPU only and see what that looks like. What is this? Okay, so that happened very quickly. And so now it says this current status, discrete graphics. All right. Let's try switching to Optimus only. Integrated graphics. So this is switching very quickly. Let's leave it on automatic select and see how well that works. But that is seamless swapping so far. Even with a bunch of applications open. Didn't have to have me close anything, which is good. All right. Now, here is our external GPUs. So it looks like the two external display ports, sorry, the external display ports, what I meant to say. The two external display ports are directly connected to the NVIDIA GPU, and the internal laptop display is currently on the Radeon graphics. Cool. All right. All of that is good. All of that's expected, exactly what we were thinking was going to happen. And what we need now, we need GPU 2 utilization, GPU temperature, GPU utilization, GPU 2 core clock, GPU 2 memory clock, power limit, no load limit, and now CPU utilization, CPU clock. Oh, it looks like our CPU temperature is not here, which is a problem. Should be able to get that with figured out though with HW info probably. Okay, there's Afterburner configured. 540 and size 14. Cool. All right, we are ready to get 3D Mark going, I believe. Can you check SSD speed? Which tool do you prefer to check with the SSD? Crystal Dismark? That's what I've used in the past. Is that the actual download? Oh my god. So many ads. Ah! Jeez. I can't tell if these are ads or if these are not ads. Okay, standard edition. Yes. Janky websites, not a fan. Download the beta version to see the CPU temperature. Yeah, well, if I can't, well, well, current display mode, NVIDIA GPU only. Okay, so it notifies you when you switch. That's cool. So you know automatically what GPU you're on if you're on the integrated or the dedicated GPU. Very cool. Now, if I were to open this Crystal Dismark, good. Let's hear. It's been a while since I've used this. I don't usually test the SSD speeds unless I have problems. We're gonna go down in size because this is just too big. Okay, so where is the test on this one? Crystal Dismark doesn't have malware. I don't think Crystal Dismark has a malware either. But I'm not sure. I thought Crystal Dismark had the test. You download disk info. You should download Diskmark. Okay, gotcha. I downloaded the wrong one because I was like, oh, there it is. I was like, where's the test? This is not what I saw last time I opened this application. All right, we're gonna get Timespy installing. We won't run the test unless it's unless Timespy is done downloading, but we can get Diskmark installed. Yeah, the actual software, Crystal this Mark, doesn't have any spyware, I don't think, but the website is just like AIDS. It was really bad. Um, okay, so Timespy is almost done downloading, 68. Looks like we have good Wi-Fi speeds, 81. These are going quick. Our peak concurrent download right now is 47 megabytes, 48 megabytes. We're done downloading Timespy already. Ginger and Jammin. Samsung Magician is really good. Okay, is that a good Tesca SSD tester? All right, let's see what we get. I believe this doesn't take long to test the SSD speed. So okay, very fast, 3,000. Hey man, how's things going? On my G17, I disable FreeSync, and it seems to be like a mux. Hmm. Interesting. Thank you, Brandon, for the live stream today. What's coming for tomorrow? Big thumbs up. Um, I would like to do a performance test. I'll probably do a live benchmarking probably in 2 days. I'd like to do the GP66 live benchmarks, which would be testing all the games. I need to finish downloading everything. So our read write is really good. 3,000 and 1,300 so far, at least with the first test. Um, do the last one. GE66 has QHD, not that I know of, as far as I know. I'm a architecture student, need to get a computer to do 3D building construction, Photoshop, etc. I need a computer with good display, portable and powerful. What would you recommend? Probably something like the Zephyrus G15, if you want something portable, powerful, good blend of everything, and a good display. Gizmo FPS in Warzone on min max settings, 1080 to 1440p, and with game record to know how many FPS record it takes. Write speeds aren't great. Yeah, well, I mean, 1,300 is enough to do everything, just about everything you want to do. Um, I mean, that's the thing. Like, unless you have a very specific task for doing, with an SSD that you need to do, um, 1,300 will do everything you need to do for writing. Like, what do you need to do that's more than that? You know? Would you switch out your daily driver scar for an 11th gen? I might, Daniel. We'll see. Um, if I get the right one, maybe. But it wouldn't be something I'd necessarily recommend for everyone else. And that's just because the 11th gen in my specific situation, playing the games I play, might perform better. All right, and then we'll do the last one, and then we'll hop over to Timespy. What's the best Alienware gaming laptop to date? I mean, currently the most powerful is the Alienware M15 R4, but the new Alienware X17 seems very promising. Good morning, brother, and new sub. All right, thanks. Welcome to the channel. I prefer Firefox to blocks Facebook and pop-ups better. Yeah, nice privacy. Doesn't You can prevent like Google and other things from tracking you around the web if you want. And then I'm pretty sure Firefox also says they don't sell your data. And there's a lot of good extensions and support for Firefox, and then it doesn't take up too many system resources like Chrome does. And I just don't trust Chrome because I'm pretty sure Google is just tracking everyone's data through Chrome. So okay, so there's your SSD speeds. Well, that's good enough now. Okay, so that was a quick test. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's like the perfect test. That's just a good ballpark test. All right, Timespy. Are we ready to see what this thing can do? Let's find out. I'm amped. I'm ready. Please turn off lights and test screen bleed. So the thing about screen bleed is that it's going to vary from unit to unit anyway. So it's kind of a hard thing to be like, because I might not have it on mine, but you might have it on yours. It's just gonna vary a lot. Will Ryzen 9 5900HS be able to undervolt? Not that I know of, but you can set the power limits to be different. Here we go, popcorn emoji. I'd like to order the Scar 17, but not sure if Ryzen 7 5800 16 gig RAM or the one with the Ryzen 9 5900HX 32 gig RAM. I think that more comes down to the price to performance ratio. It's not going to be a huge difference in performance, and it might be a big difference in price. Okay, so we're pulling 125 watts of power so far. And I'm very curious to see what this 125 watt 3060 does versus the 130 watt 3060 in the Legion. I'm thinking with the 3060, it may not be that big of a difference because I don't think this one will be quite as power hungry. Do I also review desktop stuff? Sometimes, Jack, but that's definitely not my focus. I wouldn't consider myself an expert desktop reviewer. Whereas I specialize in laptop tech. Like I don't know all the motherboards out there or which one's the very best or worst, because I'm just focused on helping people pick laptops. What laptop do you recommend for 1080p playing games? Which graphics card, which CPU? So Derek Lee, I think it just depends on what your budget is. Like if it's like a $1,300 budget, $1,700 budget, $2,500 budget, my recommendations shift around a lot. But basically, oh, sorry guys, I'll zoom out. Basically, what I would say is, ideally, if you want to get the best bang for the buck, you want to get a laptop that has a good TDP on the CPU and GPU. Um, and meets your portability size, right? So some people are fine with a 4-inch laptop that's just like weighs 20 pounds. They wouldn't care. They just want to be able to move it from desk to desk here and there. Other people will be fine with a 5 pound or a 7 pound or a 6 pound or whatever. I'm okay with up to about 7 pounds probably, maybe 8 pounds. But I think I'm done hauling around 10 pounders, 10 pound plus ones. I don't know. I think I prefer to have like a desktop for my at-home gaming if I want to have the extra power. Otherwise, like I've been really happy with the Scar 15's performance in general. Um, when I'm honestly like oftentimes like the last week or so, I've almost all been using the Scar 15. Like Carla's been using my desktop, and I've just been using the Scar 15 when I game. So like, and that's because in Black Desert it doesn't really matter. Like I'm hitting my videos a bit down. You don't see the CPU TD. You don't see the CPU TDP or temperature yet. I need to add that in HW info. But this is not a CPU test anyway. There's a short CPU test, I guess, at the end here. But it's mainly focused around the GPU. I don't really care about the CPU performance here in this test anyway. Yeah, I hear. I hear you. MCRX. We'll run it again with the CPU test, CPU temperature and TDP up. Chunky laptops usually have better thermals. Yes, that's true. Chunky laptops allow you to have a higher TDP. But I think for me, I just like having the blend of being able to have reasonable performance, so like around 1 inch thick, 6 or 7 pounds or less, 15 or 17-inch display, and that's kind of like the sweet spot for me for performance to portability wise. Like if I go much bigger than that, it's kind of like why I have a desktop at all. Okay, so we got 8700, 8682. And our CPU score is only 8720, which is interesting. A bit lower than I was hoping. Let me check the Alienware Command Center and make sure that we're on We're still on the same settings. Full speed, yep. And high performance. And did that say it had a pop-up? Let me try opening that again. OC controls need to download additional performance. Okay, so we need to update this again, I guess. Maybe this will help improve performance. So I think this laptop is sus. Hello, low. So 8700 for Timespy is about what I was expecting with this. The 130 watt TDP Legion 7 did 8900 something. So it's only a 200 point difference. So that's within the ballpark of what I would expect. But it's yeah, I think the CPU score being a bit low though, lower than I was hoping. So if there was any part of it that I was hoping would be different, it'd probably be the CPU score being a little bit higher. But that's again, this is not really a CPU test as much. And let's go ahead and get this updated, and maybe this will help improve things a little bit. In general, R9 5900HX versus 11800H for mobile esports in Call of Duty, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and Warzone. I definitely think the 11800H for those titles in particular probably will do better, Prism. So if you play Warzone, I think Warzone with a Mux is going to do a bit better on the 11800H. At least in the CPU bound areas of the game. I haven't tested it officially yet though, so we'll need to do some official tests. Like I said, I'll be doing that live stream coming up, but that's my current prediction. So take that recommendation with a grain of salt. That I need to do the actual benchmarks. How much FPS will Strix G17 with the RTX 3060 and Ryzen 9 5900HX give in Valorant? And that'll vary from laptop to laptop, what TDP it is, and if it has a mux switch or not. But it should hit over 200 with the 3060 and Ryzen 9 5900HX. It'd probably be around 200 to 250 most of the time. Hopefully this Alienware Command Center updates properly and we don't have issues. This is the kind of stuff you have to deal with a lot with the Alienware. I think it's one of the biggest flaws currently with the laptop is just the way Alienware Command Center works and updates is just so clunky. Almost all of the other almost all of the other software for other manufacturers work better in my opinion. Like update smoother, um, have more intuitive interfaces and interfaces that tend to work more often. Like a lot of the time, you're just spinning your thumbs waiting for it to update, or it doesn't update, or you can't change the fan speed without having it update, and you're not on a Wi-Fi connection, so it won't update. And you're just like, come on, let me update. I just don't want my fans running at max speed in the library. Like that's happened to me before with my Area 51M. Okay, but I already have like a G15, but the quality control sucks. Sorry for the spam. Turn off FreeSync. Asus Scar. Crazy stunts. I'll have to try it. I'll also have to try it with my Scar 15 and see if that improves the performance. But I did try turning off FreeSync before, and it didn't seem to do anything to me. For me, maybe things have changed with the latest firmwares or something. I don't know. But that was something I did test. Okay, here we are. Let's see if we can get see if HW info will work for us. There's our temperature, there's our power. Cool. So let's put these. That's our temp. CPU package power. There we go. That's our Okay, so we should have that in our overlay now. Let's try running it again. Since we also updated Alienware Command Center, maybe it'll get a little more performance, but I doubt it'll be a big difference. So it just now when we're opening Timespy, it just switched to the NVIDIA GPU. So right there is the Advanced Optimus in play. It's a little bit jarring when it like my mouse stopped moving for about a second. So whenever you switch between the integrated graphics and the dedicated GPU, um, just keep in mind that it's going to take like a moment. Like there'll be a moment where it freezes up a little bit. Like honestly, it switched very quickly, but it's just something I think is important to keep in mind. Do you recommend the Dell Premium Extended Warranty for Alienware? If so, how long? I think, in general, I think it's a decent extended warranty. Dell is a company that does their extended warranties for businesses, so they have an extensive network of hardware technicians that work on this stuff. So they're one of the few companies that can do an extended warranty like that well, you know. That said, I'm sure there's people out there that have had good experiences and bad experiences, and I'm sure your experience will vary. The R5 in my country does not offer G-Sync panel option, but the 165 hertz screen, is it still worth it for gaming? Um, Most likely, it's still going to be good, but it's without the advanced Optimus, you're gonna basically not have the option to bypass Optimus for better performance. So you will have reduced gaming performance compared to what we're seeing here. Okay, so here's our CPU temperature and wattage right there. Ginger and Jammin, what are the important differences between the 11th gen Intel and Ryzen systems? Battery life, performance, etc. Um, Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate the support. And I will say that the biggest difference is so between the 11th gen Intel is going to be and Ryzen 5000 is the nanometer size. You have 10 nanometers for the Intel 11th gen and 7 nanometers for the Ryzen. And Ryzen systems are very optimized for multi-core workloads, but that will vary from software to software. So some software will be more optimized for Intel. And then the Intel CPUs, though, they have a good PCIe bandwidth um, between the CPU and GPU this time around, and it seems to be better. So I think that's going to help improve and reduce CPU bottlenecks. So CPU bound games, I think, are going to be a bit better with the Intel 11th gen, partially because of that. And I think a MUX may not be as necessary, but we needed more testing. Um, and then, so the 11th gen Intel, basically what it comes down to, I believe the 11th gen Intel will be slightly better for CPU bound games, probably in the ballpark of like 10%, give or take a 5%. And then for multi-core workloads, I think they'll be pretty close, but Ryzen I think might be a little bit better for a lot of more multi-core workloads will be better for Ryzen CPUs, and that's largely comes down to the 7 nanometer core size, being able to push higher clocks in the same size chassis and TDP. So I think that's basically the way I would sum it up. The differences. Basically Intel king for gaming, probably Ryzen king for multi-core workloads. But in both cases, the other one's very close to the opposite. So it's kind of just what flavor are you looking for? Do you want to focus more on gaming or more focus on more multi-core workloads? Like, do you edit videos on it? Do you need to do productivity things? Stuff like that. J Rob says that was said perfectly. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you approve, J Rob. For guys who bought the Asus G15, weren't you worried about the low TDP? Um, I think whenever you go into buying a thinner laptop with a lower TDP, you have to know that you're basically sacrificing some performance for portability. It's just like a trade-off that you knowingly make. So, um, at least that's the way I view it. And I think the G15 is a good balance between portability and performance. Okay, so very similar scores, 8647 this time and 8755. Cool. Let's run Cinebench and see how we do. So we just switched back to integrated graphics, Optimus mode. Did you guys see how the screen it shifted the scaling for a second, went up and then down. Yo, what up, poofy pant, poofy poofy pants. What about the battery life on the 11th gen? I haven't tested that yet, and that's too hard to know. I think that it's going to vary a lot from laptop to laptop. I'm expecting you can get good battery life with the Intel 11th gen, but we can get exceptionally good battery life already with the Ryzen ones. So I don't know if Intel 11th gen will catch up to the Ryzen, but Ryzen laptops are definitely getting better battery life than the Intel 10th gen. What would you recommend for a good 15, 16-inch gaming laptop under 2400? Um, for gaming, I think if your focus is on gaming, I think the 11th gen MSI GP66 Leopard with a 3080 for 2300 is probably the way to go. Um, if your focus is on a blend of multi-core performance and workloads, then saving some money and going for the $2,000 Scar 15 is the way to go with a 3080. And that's going to do better in some games um, than a lot of the 3070 laptops. I think a fantastic idea is the Asus M16 versus the G15 when the M16 comes out. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, so we got 4528 with the R20. That's solid. It's about average for a 5800H. Let's see what HW info says we're pulling. Like it's a little bit lower than some of the 5800Hs we've seen, right? So okay, so our temperature is very high already. We're hitting 96 degrees. We're pulling 53 watts. 53 watts, 91 degrees now, 90. The temperature is actually going down. What's the CPU clock? So this is a little bit lower performance. This is not great performance. Only 3.5 gigahertz across all cores. Like this is solid. Like this is more than this. It's not. I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to call it solid. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's like average. That's the way I'll describe it. Average. It's average performance. 50. I mean, in a dual workload, 53 watts would be good. In a solo CPU only workload, I feel like this is not the best because a lot of the other laptops are pushing like 80 watts. Like my Scar 15 can push 80 watts. So now we only got 4353, which is not great. Let's see if we've got anything else open in the background just to make sure. Because we don't want anything else sucking up CPU juice. Like if Windows update or something is going on. Like this run obviously is going to be messed up because we have Task Manager running. So far it doesn't look like it. Like Cinebench is taking 99% of the workload. Let's see when Cinebench finishes if something's taken up. GP66 has a Thunderbolt port? No, it does not. That's the downside of it. If you need a Thunderbolt port, I think you got to go with the GE66, which is going to run you a little bit more money, but get you more RGB too for the extra FPS. Curious Nerd, defective machine? I wouldn't call this a defective machine. This seems like probably a design choice by Alienware to probably push higher TDP on the GPU. They probably focus more on the heat pipes. We can't really see what the heat pipe layout is like on the laptop. So we don't know how they've laid it out. I'm guessing there's not very many heat pipes to the CPU. So this is like a GPU focused machine, is my guess. So it initially starts out at 4 gigahertz across all the cores, but then it ramps up the temperature really fast. We're at 95 degrees, 93, 92, 91. Okay. And then we're dropping the clocks down to 3.5. So it's to me, this is a little bit sad in the sense that this is not matching the performance, for example, from the as the Asus laptops, where they do a really good job with shared GPU and CPU heat sinks to where you can shift more of the thermal load to the CPU to maximize the CPU performance when it's a CPU only load like this. Um, that said, this is still good performance. Like I said, this is like average good performance. Like if it was performing under 4500 on average, it would make me a sad panda. But the fact that it's above 4500, I mean, it's 4366 on that run. Mm, I don't know. Let's see if it can it do more than 4500? Okay, if it's under 4500, that makes me a little bit of a sad panda. Um, I don't know. Let's see. Thermal throttling. I'm thinking there might be some thermal throttling. I'm not seeing like normally there's like a section on HW info. Maybe I need to have an updated version of HW info or something, but usually there's a section where you can see if there's thermal throttling on each of the threads. But it's not indicating any thermal throttling going on. But the fact that we're hitting 95 degrees, I believe what we're seeing is power limit throttling at 54 watts, like 53.8 watts. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And Alienware knows they can't push more than 54 watts of power through it because they didn't dedicate enough um, heat pipes to the CPU so that in a CPU only workload, it can't push super high TDP to the CPU. That would basically be my analysis on the face right here. Like I think this is as high and as fast as this laptop's going to go. 4211. Okay. So, yeah. I mean basically I think that's roughly what we're going to expect. I mean I'm going to update this, make sure this is fully updated and test again for the live benchmarks and we're going to do more I'm gonna do a more thorough job updating it. So this is not an official score, but I'm guessing we're gonna get around 4300 and Cinebench R20 on this machine if we were to average a bunch of the runs, um, unless something changes with the firmware update. Now keep in mind, I have not been able to enable maximum fans. Like these fans are not running that high, so that could also affect things. Like maybe there's a way to further push the fans, to be able to reduce temperatures and raise the TDP limit. That's a distinct possibility. Okay, we're going to load up Valorant now and play around and see what it's like using this display. GE 663070 QHD versus M15 R5 QHD 3070. Your opinion, which is the better buy? Probably the GE 66. Yeah. Alienware should have made this the budget model in their lineup. Hmm. I think I don't know about that, but I mean, it kind of, in some ways, it is, but not really. If you look at this thing is a very thin chassis. Like this is about the same size as the Zephyrus um, G15, if I were to guess. So you have that right there, right? Let me see. Let me hold it up next to it. Okay, so here's the Zephyrus G15. See the size difference? Like it's almost the same thickness. I would say the Zephyrus G15 has a lot smaller footprint though, like the depth, right? Like it's a pretty big difference here. And then on the side, it's basically the exact same width, very close to the same width. And so for thickness, yeah. But yeah, so basically, I don't know. But the Zephyrus G15, I think, has a better CPU. It's got the Ryzen 9 5900HS, and it's pushing better performance. But it doesn't have advanced Optimus, so I'm guessing in CPU-bound games we still might see better performance from this one, from the Alienware. We'll have to see. It's a really unique comparison between all of these. What's your opinion and expectations of Intel's new GPU lineup? I haven't taken them. I haven't taken the. I haven't taken Intel's integrated lineup seriously in a long, long time. That said, they're the most recent ones are getting better and better, and you can do basic gaming on them, for sure. So I haven't done detailed testing on them though. Um, would be interesting to try that on the Intel GP66. Use the integrated graphics and see what it does. See how well it performs. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, Ginger and Jammin. Appreciate it. What do you recommend for student workloads? That depends on what your workload is as a student, but something like the Zephyrus G15 is very small, very portable, great battery life, good display, good keyboard. It's like just a good all-around blend of everything for you as a student. So that would be, I think, a really good option to consider. Go for Macs. Well, it depends on if you want to play games too. Then you kind of can't go for a Mac if you want to play like um, the vast majority of games. So no, 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 no. They are just bad. I can't even run Minecraft shaders with integrated. It depends. You mean their new Intel Xe dedicated GPUs? I need to look into it more. I can't really give you my opinion on them right now at this time. I think, I did read one review of it, but I don't remember it that well off the top of my head. Yeah, eh, caps lock was on. Okay, it's off now. Yes. Okay. Cool. So sorry, I'm not gonna be able to really answer your question, Ginger Jammin, for right now at least. I don't want to give you bad info. So, which is better to get the R5 QHD or the R5 Full HD? Um, that's totally up to you whether you want if you think you're gonna take advantage of that QHD resolution or not. Like if you work on spreadsheets or if you work a lot with spreadsheets, I definitely would recommend getting the QHD option. Why did we just drop to windowed mode?
Match found.
Oh, we were not able to apply the settings. Are you expecting a huge boost from the M series on the X series? I'm really looking forward to the X15, X17 lineup, but I'm curious as to how they might perform. We'll see. I am really curious about it, and the X17 may get my money as my own personal laptop. We'll see. Okay. Confirm. Graphics quality. We set everything to high. Off. 8x, 4x. Off. Okay. Oh, we got a good afterburner running. All right. Oh, oh yes. I gotta say, this is a very smooth experience. It's hard to notice visually, like when you have this high of a frame rate, whether you have G-Sync on or not. But I'm probably gonna get shot from the side. I like these people. These people are noobs. Newegg is safe. Yeah, Newegg is one of the most reputable sites on the internet. Oh, it didn't heal me that time. Double kill. Someone else come around the corner before my timer runs out. Thank you. Oh, got shot from the side. Would you recommend this laptop to a student? Yeah, this would be a good laptop for a student, I think. I love the Advanced Optimus. I don't like that people can come from the left or the right here. Hey, I think we're in the lead. Oh god, can't point blank. But the Guardian is kind of crappy. Oops. Doit. So we're averaging 194 FPS so far. I mean, that's certainly good. I think the bigger thing is that we have G-Sync, so it's just super fluid. Like the gameplay is super fluid. I'm curious. So you can see right here, we're not pulling that high of wattage. I mean, this game is just not that optimized. I mean, it is really optimized, but it's not like optimized for ultra high frame rate. At least that's what I've experienced. The interesting thing is I've seen some people talking about their performance in Valorant as being much higher than what I'm seeing. And I believe that comes down to maybe GPU utilization. Maybe there's a way to optimize the game so that it utilizes more higher percentage and pushes the frame rate just as high as it possibly can. Because I feel like there's like a setting issue here that's preventing the FPS from boosting as high. Does it dip in battery percentage when you play and you keep it plugged in? No, it won't. We've got a really high power adapter on this, so it's not going to be a problem. Oh, shot from all the directions. How's the temperature? So far, the temperature is good. Oh, we don't have HW info open. Let's check out what the temperature on. But I mean, I wouldn't expect the temperature to be bad at all on this, right? This game, we're not even pushing the CPU and GPU that hard. Whew. Ooh, good shot. Gizmo, can you try the game on low settings? Sure, though keep in mind that I don't think you're going to see much of a difference in performance. Because I think it's an optimization issue right now that's going on. You see, we're getting like the exact same frame rate right now. So I don't know. This game's probably not the best game to test. Like I said, I'll be doing a full benchmarks session with this laptop. So you'll want if you want to see more games and more performance, I definitely recommend coming back for that. He's running an op. Oh, that person's good. Let's see what we can get. Finish out this match, and then I'll try to answer any questions, and we'll end the stream. Please try those things. This is on low settings. These are on the lowest possible settings. And notice the frame rate did not change or shift around at all. So I definitely think it's, like I said, I think it's an optimization issue. So when will you benchmark the GP66 11th gen? That'll be the first one I benchmark out of the laptops that I've got that recently came in. Is this on QHD? No, this is full HD. But I think it's, like I said, I think this is an optimization issue. I'm expecting more FPS if we could. Our GPUs only utilize 42% and 19% on the CPU. So I gotta look up like a Valorant optimization guide or something. Because I definitely think this thing could push higher FPS than what we're seeing right now. How is the keyboard travel? The keyboard feels great to game on. Feels natural, very responsive. I like killing poison. Poison dies a lot. Oh, we were on a kill streak. Hey, that was the guy that was leading. No. Okay, that's it. Which gun is that? That's the Guardian. I like the Guardian for like one tap and headshots. When will the Lenovo laptop benchmark come? After the GP66. I'll do that one after that. Okay, cool. Very nice. Do we have any final questions here? We'll do Warzone on the full gaming benchmarks. I'll do a whole bunch of different games coming up. So, guys, that's it. I appreciate everyone stopping by the stream. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Overall, CPU only performance was not great. The GPU only performance was good. Valorant performance was, I think we needs to be some optimization. I don't think that's Alienware's fault. I think that's Valorant's fault because that's happened on a lot of the laptops I've been testing. But we still pushed over 200 FPS, which is great, and it felt very good to game on. The sound was good, and I could even hear left and right a bit, left and right audio separation with just the internal speakers, which is good. Like I could tell when someone was on the right side or left side, which you can't always do with a lot of laptops. And that's probably because they have the speaker grills on the left and right side on the sides of the laptop. So um, now, overall, my initial impressions on this is not that it's amazing, but it's good gaming performance, and Advanced Optimus was working well. I need to do more tests before I can formulate a full opinion on whether I can recommend it or not. Um, whereas some laptops I can be like, oh, this is amazing, this is great, I can recommend this instantly. This one I need to do more tests on. So that's kind of my summarization of this laptop at the moment. But it's promising, I'll say that. It's promising. It's not all bad. It's not all amazing. It's a mix on this one. Um, but overall, it's good impression. good impression, not great, and I prefer to have great when I'm recommending products. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's my summary of the laptop at the moment. I will see you guys in the next stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Drop a like; it does help me out a lot. And thank you to everyone that dropped super chats. Daniel Barrakeet for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Number one fan. Thanks, Daniel. Did I miss another super chat as well? Uh, I don't think so. I think that's all the recent super chats. But yeah, cool. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you in the next stream. Probably in 2 days on Monday. I'll probably do another live stream on Monday night. That's my goal. Do I think it's worth the price? I need to do more testing, Arjun. That's the main thing. I think it could be worth the price, but I just need to do more testing before I can. Like I said, it's a mix right now. So the main downside is the CPU only performance is not amazing. The gaming performance in Timespy was solid, but for the $1,700 price point, I feel like there might be better options. It all depends on the configuration and everything, I think, at this point, whether I can recommend it. And like I said, I need to do more testing and do more comparisons. So anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.